So this one is kind of like the equivalent of a mini crossover. Martha's back in the TARDIS, and they introduce the Doctor's kind of sort of daughter. And yeah, I like this episode. I mean, there are bits that are just there for the sake of being there, like that twist with the dates, making the war just go on for 7 days, but since they clone people or make new soldiers pretty much every day, it seems like it's gone on and it's twisted. But it's just kind of an episode that I kind of thought of and they had to get it out really quickly. Just seemed very rushed. This is what I like to call the Doctor's second best murder mystery, Agatha Christie episode, because obviously Mummy on the Orient Express I find a better Agatha Christie episode, and they didn't even have Agatha Christie in it. Yet this episode, I mean, I like it, but to be honest, I think it spends too much time referencing the books, because I swear they just trying to find as many places to put the references in, and now I get that. But they did episodes with Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, and they didn't really do references that forced before. And I get it, it was kind of becoming a thing, like we had all famous historical authors before, so they'll do it again. But as one of those real historical people episodes, it's not really the best. This is kind of like, it's a great reintroduction to Donna, don't get me wrong, but this episode is really weird. Like, the villains, Miss Foster is a decent villain, but the adipose, I'm not sure if we were supposed to find them scary, but granted, if some weird fat thing crawled out of somebody's back, that probably would be terrifying, but I swear they were made deliberately not scary. Apart from that, it's a good episode. Miss Foster's sonic pen is kind of hilarious. And Rose, I swear she's the only companion that can't go, actually, oh no, wait, that's Clara. She was still around, like, I know there was a reason for her being there this time when being mentioned, but still. Ouch. So, when this episode, or the news of the Ood's return first came out, I was actually pretty excited because I really enjoyed the Ood's first two-parter, and even though this was just a single episode, it still did pretty well, because even though it's got one episode, they're not really being possessed by anything this time, they're just kind of getting angry, and this introduced Ood Sigma, and it started the Dr. Donna story arc, and the whole David Tennant's Doctor, Your Song Will End Soon storyline. And still, it did pretty well, like, even though it's essentially full of random people who are going to be killed, Donna, as usual, was brilliant, and the Doctor, he was amazing, and that claw scene, it was something different. And this kind of felt like, once again, the Doctor versus consumerism. And I don't know why, but I like those episodes. I really do. Now, this is a very good episode. One of the few episodes of New Who to star an evil Sontaran, because now all the Sontarans and Silurians seem to be good, but that's a rant for another day. Martha and Donna get on pretty well. The Doctor, and it's not like the Shakespeare Code where the Doctor, or it sounds like the Doctor presses one to the other. He's just hoping they don't fight. The Sontarans are handled pretty well, and Dan Starkey seems to have found a role that he's incredibly good at, Sontarans. And Ross. I like Ross. And also, the whole Atmos Luke Ratkin. Yeah, he's okay, but to be honest, he is a bit annoying with his whole I'm rich, I'm awesome, I know everything, I'm better than you. And you just gotta love the fact that the Doctor took down a Sontaran doing tennis. It's amazing. So this episode, because to be honest, I couldn't wait. And the thought of the enemy cloning a companion, honestly, my imagination went into overdrive for what was happening. Then, turns out, the clone was doing what the Doctor wanted, and it turns out the Doctor knew all along. So, kind of the only reason to have the clone is to point a gun at the Doctor when he discovers that secret room. Apart from that, it was pretty good. Like, Donna, Wilf in trouble. Good job he was safe. Love it. Wilf is amazing. Like, he's the best companion's dad ever. The whole Donna getting separated from the Doctor and having to survive on the Sontaran ship is actually pretty good, because she's kind of the person who would just sitting there going, oh, this is stupid, but she actually does it, and you see how much the Doctor actually believes in her. It is just amazing. The Doctor, Donna, Captain Jack, Sarah Jane, Mickey and Jackie, and Martha, they were good characters in this. The fact that this kind of got to get everyone together on that Dalek ship, that was good. Rose, okay, she wanted to be with the Doctor for the rest of her life. The Doctor literally solves that problem for her, and she's still not happy. I mean, yes, he's not her, but he's a human equivalent, and he looks exactly like him. Are you still not happy? Really? That really annoys me. Oh, and the Doctor, Donna, I think it's a decent conclusion of just, I know they had to, like, do the whole you think they were going to die but they're not thing, but really? They leave the controls for the Daleks, including the self-destruct one, out in the open? It's like they were asking to be stopped. This is a great episode. Like, this is probably the biggest event a companion has to deal with on their first adventure. Like, Rose kind of fell out with Doctor. Martha, yeah, she didn't really have to deal with any moral dilemma. Amy, yeah, she sort of did, but she somehow managed to save them. This was not only the first time Donna was thrown into a moral dilemma of you have to convince Doctor to help somebody. This is probably his first adventure where we know the outcome. Like, we know Pompeii's gonna be destroyed. Like, there was no chance of saving that. And this is the Doctor going, no one can be saved. And that's the whole moral dilemma of the episode. should he save somebody. And then when they have to stop the pyroviles, that's what causes the eruption of Vesuvius in the first place. And even though the Doctor only saved one family, that's kind of the best you're gonna get. And watching this now, like at 16, this is not only do I treat it as kind of like any other happy ending, like I know this is the best they're gonna do. And also Carrigan and Pete Capaldi, good cameos. And Pete Capaldi, he was amazing even before he said "Shut up, Santa." That's got to be one of the best lines ever uttered by the Doctor ever. Steven Moffat. His first story coming out of Blink, which, to be honest, would be hard to top at the best of times, and then he's given a 2-part. So, in some ways, he's given twice a bigger chance. And although I don't think he did beat Blink, and I don't think he will in terms of his pre-Matt Smith era, this is a really good episode. Like, he's going back to the he said don't blink with statues, now he's trying to do the same with shadows. And I think he does it pretty well, because although shadows aren't around us as much as statues, when they're around you can't avoid them, because they're a natural thing made by light. So this is a really clever thing. And then saying that there are stuff in the shadows and they were there the whole time. And also the two shadows thing, that was clever. And the Vashta Nerada, great villains. But I think they may have been better like they were in the shadows of the Vashta Nerada, as in silent enemies, like the Veil that kept coming but didn't say anything, because that kind of gives it away when somebody's coming that's saying, hey, who turned out the light? Kind of gives away the surprise. But great cliffhanger, great episode. This is Steven Moffat being clever. The Forest of the Dead being books. That is clever, I'll admit. But as I said in The Science of the Library, they should have made the Vashta Nerada silent. That would have been so much better, I think. But this episode, I like Donna, but I like her bits with Dr. Moon, played by Colin Salmon. But her with that guy who can't say her name, I don't actually remember what his name is, and I can't remember anything about him. I think that's the most noticeable thing about him. He can't say Donna's name. But the Doctor and River song, amazing. And this being River's last/second episode, it's pretty good. And you can tell the Doctor is pretty sad to see her go, because even though he doesn't really know her that well, you can tell that he's kind of believes her when she says that he'll see her again. And that's really effective. And so's the ending. Like, it's a real feel-good ending, which is kind of rare now. We don't really get that. It's either good or bad now, but this one is actually feel-good, even though the episode was pretty dark when you think about it. When I first saw this in 2008, I didn't like this episode. But now, because, well, then I was one of those kids that liked action and didn't really care about those thought-provoking episodes, or when I did, it was very rare. But now, this is a great episode, because it kind of actually mirrors what normal people would do in that same situation. And even though the Doctor knows what he's doing, he has to convince a load of people that he's their best shot at surviving, even though they just think that he's just doing it. And then they start blaming each other, and this is kind of... You could literally edit this to show the stages of panic people would go through. And one problem, Rose didn't need to be there. We get it, she's still alive. That really? She's not Stan Lee. She doesn't have to appear in every single episode ever. Now this episode, it makes sense for Rose to be here. Captain Jack could have been here, but then he died halfway through in this dimension. Martha, well, she dies as well. Sarah Jane dies. So Rose, it makes sense for her to be here because this is an alternate or a parallel world. Which companion do we go to? Rose, that makes sense. And her and Donna, they get on pretty well. And it's pretty much Donna finding out about the Doctor's universe in a totally different way, and what would happen if she never ran into the Doctor at a wedding. And Rose is literally her being the Doctor, and I like this episode. It's clever. It cleverly rewrites half the stuff that's happened in New Who, literally everything David Tennant's taking part in. And it kills off some of my favourite companion. It killed off Captain Jack. But luckily he came back in the next episode. But this was so clever in the way it acted, and Wilf was amazing with, and the whole dilemma with the Titanic, everything was just thought out so perfectly. Like, they could have had a billion loads of alternative ways of doing that. But the way they did it, from Donna's perspective, and the fact that they changed it, it was really, really clever. And I think more episodes should do it more like this. This is how you do a crossover. Okay, this is the best episode of Series 4, hands down. Like, not only is it a great first part of the setup for the finale, but the way it brings characters together, that this is a fact, not everyone who watches Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures watches Doctor Who. So, the fact that Russ T Davies actually put the effort into, they could essentially make Toshiko and Owen appear in the hub. And there would be a few people who are annoyed at that, but not everyone. But the fact that they actually take the effort to only have Gwen, Yanto and Jack in there is brilliant. And same with Sarah Jane Adventures. They could have had Clyde and Maria there, but they didn't. And you can tell that this is a truly global threat, and everything is going to hell, and the Doctor and Donna are kind of just trapped outside. And Rose, why did she have to say she was here first? I mean, really? The Doctor's over 900 years old. Do you think you're going to be his only friend? I'll say that for another day. Anyway, the Daleks felt like kind of a brute force, and although it's not really given a real reason why Martha's in America, she is. And Jack and Harriet Jones is back. Basically, all the characters there are brilliant. Daleks feel like a true threat. Davros, great introduction to the new people. And honestly, when the Doctor first sees Davros, it is kind of the Doctor is realising how bad the situation is. And this is a great episode to the David Tennant's final full series. So, join me next time when I will be counting down ranking the 2009 specials. See you then.